well, to use your words about Erica, the morons, right? Uh, so
Literally none of that happened. It's just a bunch of fan fiction from you.
you know you like my fan fiction,
But
but
that is what it is. It's just fan fiction.
fair, fair.
Yeah.
You got me, man. You got me. You always got me. So yeah, we're gonna kick this off. I would like you to preface it because a lot of times we don't give you that opportunity. I already gave the TOS statement. Everybody's gonna be on their best behavior with the TOS, um, and everybody knows how you feel about the TOS. It's not your decision. It's just something that has to be done. We know
Yeah.
we're in this
Look,
dystopic
I
world
would
where
prefer yeah, I would prefer that that wasn't the case, but it is the case. It will work within the confines of it.
yeah, Rabbi, I'm glad you grabbed the mic. Actually, you probably have been wanting to talk to Andrew for a little bit, but I want to stick with Andrew. Just preface, you've obviously had a lot of backlash the last couple weeks, which obviously you don't care. You welcome it, and I actually admire that about you. And you're doing this space tonight. Friday night, you could be doing a lot of other things, hanging out with family. So you are one of the hardest working people I know in the industry, and it is to affect culture and a change in culture. So I appreciate the cause. I'm not going to hold back in calling you out for um, co-signing this Fed slop, but outside of that, I appreciate
And I
you.
don't co-sign the mouth slop. So, I mean, there's slop that both of us won't co-sign to, I suppose. You use mouth
Fair,
slop, yeah, that's how I see it anyway. But yeah, if you want a preface, I'll go ahead and give a preface if you'd like.
please.
So last time I was in here, I had a very specific proposition, which nobody wanted to actually dive into. Um, I'm not going to give a specific proposition this time. I don't think it's necessary. Rather, I would like to just see where this goes. So what I did, the demand from all of you, from your guys' side, was that I needed to painstakingly go through the evidence. Right, I wasn't familiar enough with the evidence to be making the sorts of claims that I was making. So I did exactly that. I painstakingly went through all the evidence. I watched every minute of footage live of the hearing, right? And I tried to dive in to the counterclaims as well, just to make sure that I was as familiar as possible with the evidence to make sure that if you brought any of that up, I would be able to address any of it, even though I think most of it is tangential and nonsensical. So that's the claim one. Um, so claim two is just that I still have the same exact position, which is that the um, essentially the idea that Tyler Robinson was responsible for the death of Charlie Kirk. The evidence is overwhelming, in my opinion, for that. And there's no good evidence or compelling evidence for any alternative theory which has been posited by opposition to date. In other words, what I'm saying is that not only am I making a single one claim, which is that I think that Robinson was the, but an even stronger claim that I've to date heard no counter compelling evidence for any other narrative. So those are two claims that you guys can attack me on if you'd like to. Um, so there's a couple other things I'll quickly address. A, is Andrew on the TPUSA payroll? No. So I don't have any ongoing payments from TPUSA. I took a single payment to go down and assist with their debaters for the Pick Up the Mic tour. And my entire capacity for that entire trip, which Rob Nor was with me for, was to just train their debaters how to take on leftists that pick up the mic. And that was it. That was the entirety of my participation. So if any of you had questions about that, happy to field whatever those are too. If you want to talk about whatever my experiences were over there, happy to field all of those too. Um, I think that it's fair to ask me about that. I don't have any problems with it. I just don't think that it's particularly relevant to anything ultimately, and it's just more mouth garbage. So, third, my last claim is that the reason that I think so many people on the opposition side from you guys, which would be people who agree with me, are so pissed off at you people is because after Trump allocated Antifa to be a terrorist organization, which everybody had wanted him to do on the right forever, we had something of unity between right wingers for a minute. And essentially, Candace Owens and these conspiracy lunatics have destroyed that. They've completely eliminated it and took what could have been the warpath of the right, dismantling left wing NGOs and other things, and made it a complete joke. And instead, we find out that, America, who enhances much of this propaganda along with other left wing accounts, many of them are funded by Act Blue. Color me shocked. So those are my claims that I'm willing to put down. I understand that I'm on defense here because I'm making the claims this time. I felt like when I was on offense and allowed you guys to make claims, you just didn't make any, which I found pathetic. So essentially, I'll take the harder position here because I think it's so defensible. And that's my preface.
All right, yeah, I appreciate that. We got a hand, we got a hand up. So I appreciate you doing that preface. I'm glad you could at least admit there that in the prior discussions and debate, now that you've said that you've looked at some things and investigated, glad you can admit that you were kind of talking out of your
That's
in the
not
prior
literally
in the
none
prior
of that. Just
discussions.
none of that happened. I still think I had a good familiarity with the evidence. I just wanted to make sure that there's no angle in which I was going to let any of you low IQ idiots attack me and get away with it. So that's all.
Okay, well, that's not what people just heard, but we won't go down. We won't. People just heard you say, "Oh, I decided to take the time to look into things." So that's what I heard.
Even further than
Prior.
I already had. Yes.
I got you. All right, Rabbi, what do you got?
No, I was just going to say, listen, I love Andrew Wilson. I love watching his videos. On this one topic, I, of course, disagree with him. And I wanted to ask very quickly a logical question. First of all, how do you account for the fact that there's no physical evidence to back up the Tyler theory? And why do you discount the existence of the null hypothesis? That is, why do you seem to believe there are only two alternatives, there are only two possible theories, Candace's theory or the government's
Well,
theory?
hang on. We got to do
And
one. Can we do one at a
we do one
time?
at a time. Yeah. How do
So
you
let's
account for the
start with
lack
the
of physical
second one
evidence?
first, which is the null hypothesis.
No, 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 no.
Okay. Hey, no, no,
Let's.
one at
All
a
right, go ahead.
time.
Go ahead. Fine.
Okay. So first and foremost, when you're talking about the null hypothesis, this is easily addressed. I didn't postulate there's only two theories. So I don't know where you came up with that. You just made it up. I just told you out of all theories which have been presented thus far, this is the only one I see any compelling evidence for. So that's one. The second one is there is physical evidence. I don't know why you think that there isn't physical evidence. I have no idea where you came up with that claim.
Great. Can you present it?
It's been
I mean,
presented. I mean, the material evidence has been presented. We have photographic, video evidence. You don't consider that physical evidence
of what though?
of Tyler Robinson physically being on the campus of UVU?
A lot of people are on the campus of UVU that day. You got to be more specific, sir. All right.
Was just very specific. I don't know how much more specific I can be than Tyler Robinson was on
Right.
the campus of UVU. That would be physical evidence.
Along with
Secondly,
1,000 other kids.
secondly, we have the material evidence of the bullet and the bullet fragments, which were taken out of Charlie Kirk. They're 30 caliber rounds. We also have physical evidence, which is DNA evidence,
That's not
which is
true.
taken off the. Yes, it is true. I don't know where you came up with that.
They were not conclusively found to be 30 caliber rounds.
They were too found
They were not.
conclusively to be 30 caliber rounds. You're
They
lying.
were not.
Yes, they were too.
I
Okay.
watched the video.
I'll tell you what, if I'm lying and they weren't conclusively found to be 30 caliber rounds, demonstrate it right now. I'll be quiet.
I'll find the video.
You won't
But
be able to find that video because one thing
why?
that they're not disagreeing on is that there were
Mhm.
30 caliber rounds. I think that you're confusing that with your dumb conspiracy. Well, not you specifically, but the dumb conspiracy of they weren't able to match that round specifically to that rifle barrel, meaning they don't know that it was shot out of that rifle
Now,
specifically.
yes. Okay. Well, then
Is
tell me
that, hang
something.
on, does that
Tell me
make,
something.
is that actually the case? Did you confuse
That
those
could be
two
the case.
facts?
That could be the case.
Okay.
However, you got to tell me, why was there no exit wound?
Well, so I can, do you want to go over
A
the
30
30
caliber round
6?
would produce
Yeah.
an exit wound.
No, it wouldn't. That you just made that up. Where did you come up with that? There's not anybody, not a single credible ballistics expert on planet Earth who has made that claim. None.
And so I'm either smarter or dumber than every single ballistics expert on the earth.
I
But
guess. So can you
we need to
demonstrate?
figure out which
So
one of those it is.
let's start with the fact that it's that the caliber here, 30-06, this is what's being claimed that was used. Do you agree with me on this?
Yes.
Okay. Secondarily, do we agree that that caliber has been used since early turn of the century, including in World War One, World War II, and the Korean War? Do we
I'm not
agree?
familiar, but I'll take your word for it.
Do you think that the military has done incredible amounts of data sets on that particular caliber because they were used in so many foreign wars?
Most likely.
Okay. And have you reviewed any of the information on flesh entry wounds from the 30-06 caliber and how often they stop inside of flesh entry wounds and cavitations?
Have not.
Then why are you telling me what's possible and what's not? You're not familiar with any of the literature.
Well, are you?
Yes, I'm very
You
familiar
have
with the
you have
yes,
time
I have
for you to
literature
present
right
to me?
here that I can present to you if you would
All
like to
right.
read through it. One second here, I'll pull it up for you.
I'm willing to look at it. I'm willing to look at it, but
I
my
like to
point
see
is
it
that
too
if a
because
Yeah.
you
bullet,
smuggled in there flesh entry. You're saying these
Yeah, that's called a
milit
neck wound is a flesh entry, sir.
no,
right, it's
I
not a
understand
bone,
that.
but
So you're saying you're looking at all like only
So
neck
here,
injuries?
you guys, you can follow right along with me if you'd like to.
mhm.
Um, this particular data point study, pulling it up here on my side, you can pull it up. It's completely public information. This is a report document. Hang on a second. Let me zoom in just a bit. This is for my stream, by the way. I hope you guys don't mind if I set this up so that they can see everything as well.
I do
Okay.
whatever you need to.
So this particular one, you got the report date. This is from 2012, Ballistics of 30-06, a cartridge. Yeah, it's authored by Michael Courtney and Amy Courtney. The performing organization is the United States Air Force and the United States Air Force Academy. The paper describes the internal and external terminal ballistics of the 30-06 cartridge, which cartridge, case capacity of 78 to 70 grains of water, operating pressure, etc. Now, inside of this report, there's a whole lot, but I'm going to give you some of the highlights if you'd like to go over them with me. Would you like me to do that for you, sir?
I would actually.
Okay, good. So, first and foremost, hang on a second. I want to make sure I get down to the correct page. You're going to find this on page 14. Starting on page 14, you're going to see FMJ tumbling and fragmentation, and there's a ballistics chart that's for it. Typical behavior of expanding bullets is shown in the red by blue bell curves. This is from figure 17. Highlighted in this report, several effects in tissue significantly increase the force on the bullet. Tissue is about 1,000 times denser than air. Quote, many bullets experience more drag in tissue due to expanding, tumbling, and fragmentation. Bullet penetration requires tissue to be damaged rather than just pushed aside. Thus, while most bullets will travel thousands of yards in air, penetration depths in tissue is measured in inches or feet. Over on wounding potential, which is slide 2, the average force on the bullet can be estimated as the kinetic energy lost divided by the distance over which the energy is lost. So it gives an equation for the drag. We're not able to do a precise equation. The reason that we're not is because we don't know what the exact load of the bullet was. But because we do know that it was, or it likely was, a 150 grain Remington core locked, which has a lead, basically this is a lead round with a light copper jacket around it just to keep the round together. It's actually designed to break up. They do, I mean, they break up often when the jacket is split on impact, especially depending on the type of cavitation. So here we have flesh entry and we have a neck wound a neck bone which contacts the round. This is common. It's not super common, but it's common enough that there's tons of precedent for this with entry wounds when it comes to the 30-06 and flesh drag of the round not exiting. You can even find this on hunting forums if you want to, with 150 grain Remington core lock of various hunters who have shot deer, and there's no exit wound.
Okay. So all you've established is that it's possible,
Yeah.
not even likely, but you
That's all I
haven't
need
shown
to
me the
that's all I
evidence that
need to
that's what happened.
establish. Well, we
No, you
don't have
don't.
access to the
But here's the
medical
thing.
report. We don't have access to the
Well,
medical
I
report.
know, Andrew. I know, but here's the thing. If you establish that your theory is possible, your theory doesn't come up any better than basically any other
Well,
theory on the
first of
table right
all,
now.
hang on, a couple things. First of all, it's not my theory. What I'm saying is that based on the evidence
It's the one you're pushing.
that the state, well, because it's the one that answers the most questions and has the most evidence for it. But what I've just
I would
established for
disagree.
you is that not only is this possible, but it's common enough that it's been seen many times before. And your theory, you would need to provide a counter ballistic data set for the impossibility of the contrary, and you can't.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I don't have to prove impossibility. See,
Then it
that's where you're
then
wrong.
all you're doing is
If you want to prove, if
mm,
you want to prove in a court of law that this is what happened, you have to prove assert it through beyond a reasonable doubt.
I agree with that.
There's still a ton of reasonable doubt in play here before we kind of spike the football on this theory.
Well, wait a second. Right now, we're not litigating a trial where I can say anything beyond a reasonable doubt. What is my claim, sir? Make sure that you get my claim correct. That out of all theories postulated, this
Right.
particular theory has the most amount of evidence, explains the most amount of things, and has the most compelling amount of evidence in comparison to all contrary theories. If it is the case that I just demonstrated for you that this is a possibility and gave you the data that it is a possibility, the state's claiming
Mhm.
that this is what happened. They're claiming they pulled the 30 cal out. Your initial claim is that a 30-06 would have to penetrate, and that's not true. So, so is it possible or not, sir?
We've already established it's possible. What
Okay,
we're trying to
great. Then
figure out is if it's likely.
your initial claim has been negated. Then the state
I
actually
said
does
there's no
have
physical
material.
evidence.
Yeah, it does have material physical evidence. It pulled the 30 caliber pieces out of Charlie Kirk. That's material evidence. That's another falsehood. You just made it up.
I disagree that they're 30 caliber. Right? Listen,
You
I
disagree
understand
what?
that
With what? What are
there's
you
like
disagreeing
I
with?
understand that there's a need to believe the government story, but I don't think that the pictures that I've seen of what they pulled out of his neck, I don't see how those can be identified as any round.
Yeah, but that's
But
your
again,
ignorance and incredulity is not evidence to the contrary. The fact that you don't understand that because a bullet, when it impacts, can shatter into many pieces, does
I know
not in
that.
any way negate or give any contrary evidence to what the state has presented.
That wasn't my position.
So, what is
I
the
understand
position? Was
bullets
it a 30
fragment.
caliber or not?
What I'm saying is that once a bullet fragments, it can fragment to the point where it can no longer be identified,
That's true,
and
but
it
this
might
one
not
was
even be a
not.
bullet at a certain point,
That's true,
right?
but this one was not. This one was
Mhm.
able to be identified by both a piece of the copper jacketing as well as
Mhm.
by 4 different pieces of the bullet itself.
All right, I'm gonna take a look at that evidence then. You've
Okay.
spent more time reading this than I have. I'll take a look at that evidence.
No
But
problem, and I
still,
appreciate
in
very
terms of
much the
yeah,
conversation.
in terms of if I were to take this investigation and I were to make it smaller, it would go much differently.
What does that
Because
mean?
so if this were not Charlie, if this were not a high-profile public figure, if this were a random guy shot in an alley, I would not. I don't think that it would go the way it's going now. It would go much more by the book. They'd be looking at they'd be looking at things like motive, who has capacity,
What do you They
who
looked at
was
all
there,
those
et
things. What
cetera,
do you
et cetera.
mean?
Here's the thing, though. There's a lot more players that might have motive, and as a matter of fact, there's players that have more motive and more capacity to
Like
pull this
who?
off, and there's players that have
Who?
capacity to pull this off and make it look like
Wait,
someone else did it.
who?
And I don't understand why you would completely discount that possibility.
Well, who?
Again, I'm not saying this is definitely the thing that happened. What I'm saying is that the refusal to look at a theory that would explain this better and take into consideration motivation and the current geopolitical
It
realities,
did take into
it
consideration
doesn't matter
motivation.
if you hold on. It's not what I'm saying is not that you're wrong because you don't agree with this theory. What I'm saying is the vehemence against anyone who wants to look at it, for me, is conspicuous and has
Oh,
always
okay,
been
I
conspicuous.
understand. So,
You know what I'm saying?
okay, so
just
hang on.
coming
I
out
want to
and
make
saying
sure I
that
get it.
this theory is definitely false,
Yeah, hang on. Can I
for
make sure?
me, is suspicious.
Can I just clarify a couple things here, though?
Sure.
Right? You do realize that there can be some theories which are more viable than others, and that it's fine if you want to question official narratives, but it's not fine if you're casting doubt and you're casting dispersions on somebody who potentially could be innocent, right? So, like when people are saying
No,
that Erica
no.
Kirk, her husband, and was in collusion with the FBI to do so, yeah, you're going to get a lot
You
of
don't go to
pushback.
strawman. You
Oh,
don't have to go to
I'm
strawman.
not strawmanning your position. I'm giving you
I
an
know.
explanation of
Mhm.
contrary theories which have been postulated that are pushed back on. So, which
Mhm.
theories specifically are being pushed back on, then, sir, that you think shouldn't be?
You're arguing from consequences. You're arguing from that. You're saying that because this theory might potentially hurt someone if it were accepted, then it must be false.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying
That's
is
what you
that
just
you're
said.
going to receive more pushback for theories which are postulated that are designed specifically to cast dispersions on somebody's character without any proof than you are theories that are not.
But I'm not talking about theories that cast aspersions on
Then which
people's
theories are
character.
you talking about?
You want to know? Okay, so
Yes.
first of all, we want to look at state actors. That's my theory.
What state
My
Well,
theory is
actors?
that my
even
theory is
before
that
that,
my
Rabbi, I
theory is that
want you to go with your. Andrew wants to hear your theory, but even before that, I would tell Andrew that he needs to be consistent because a lot of this dispersion you're talking about has been cast on Tyler Robinson, and he's innocent until proven guilty, and so he's not. And there's been way
yeah,
more people
And there's
have
gonna be a
been
lot less
saying.
pushback
he could
if
be
you're
just as
if
innocent as Erica
if
Kirk
it
is.
listen, we can make a couple of concessions. In the eyes of the law, Tyler Robinson is innocent until proven guilty. But you're gonna get a lot less pushback if it's the case that you got a lot of evidence of somebody's guilt versus when you have no evidence of their guilt and you're pushing through, some sort of theory that they're guilty absent evidence. The people who
But
are
this,
pushing on Tyler
Mhm.
Robinson are pushing on Tyler Robinson because they feel like they have a lot of evidence. They're pushing back against you on the crazy Erica Kirk TPUSA conspiracy theories because they
Hold
don't
on,
think you have any.
hold on. No one here is espousing the crazy Erica Kirk TPUSA conspiracy
Then
theories,
which theory
except
are we
you.
espousing?
Okay, my theory is that it was a state actor. We don't even have to
You
go
mean
into
it's
which. My theory is simply that it looks like a state actor. It looks like a state
which
ordered
state?
assassination. We don't have to get into that.
Why not? Because you
It's
don't wanna admit
unnecessary.
because you don't wanna admit you think them? Just say it.
It's not a necessary
Just tell the
part
truth.
of the
Don't lie to me.
question.
Don't bullshit me. You think them, don't you?
Andrew, you are becoming uncharacteristically emotional right
You
now.
are becoming characteristically weaselly. Answer the question. Do you think
And
the guy or do you not think so?
we're gonna keep it clean and logical. We don't need to get into which state actor at this
Okay.
point.
So then if I'm going to ask you then if we want to narrow down the theory for which potential state actors, which ones would you say are in the arena? Which ones are
Irrelevant at this
running?
point. It's
Okay.
irrelevant at this point in the
Okay, it's
conversation, Andrew.
irrelevant. So I'm
My
supposed to
point,
look
which I
into
have
state
yet to
actors that you
establish,
won't
and which
name.
you seem to be blocking at the moment, you seem to be afraid to get into this.
I'm the one
My
afraid to get into it,
hypothesis
huh?
is simply that this event looks very much like a state or ordered.
Okay,
That's it.
let's go over your evidence for that. What is it?
All right. It was extremely public. The was not carried out in private. It was not done when Charlie Kirk was on the John. It was not carried out when he was walking from his house to his car. It was carried out in the full view of television cameras and thousands of onlookers, all with smartphones, and many of whom were recording the incident.
Okay, yeah, why would a state
One,
actor do that?
for the psychological effect.
So a state
This is the
actor
same
did
thing with the
this.
JFK.
I see.
JFK
So,
assassination was the same. Twin
uh-huh.
Towers were the same.
So it was a
Okay.
sacrifice of some kind?
No, I'm just saying that for the psychological effect, if you have a state actor that's hostile to the United States and you
Yeah.
wish to have a negative psychological effect or demoralization of the people in the United States, one of the best ways to do it is to stage a public and televised.
Got it. So it's public, it's televised. That's your evidence that it was a state actor. What else?
No, don't put words in my mouth. This is just building the case for why I think it was a state actor.
Great.
All right?
Keep
We're in
going.
the realm of possibility, not likelihood at the moment.
It's not a likelihood, just a possibility.
All right.
Is
That's
that
what you're
correct?
saying.
Is that what you just said?
Let's look.
It's not a likelihood. It's only a possibility. That is what you just said, correct?
Yeah, what I'm talking about right
So
now
it's
is
not
only a
even. So you
possibility.
don't think it's even likely?
Okay, Andrew, listen.
I just want to make
I
sure that
want to
we're
make sure.
clear.
I want to make
You're
sure.
saying you
Don't
don't
do
think
this,
that it's even likely that it was a
Andrew.
state
You're better
actor. Is
than
that right?
this. You're better than
Can
this.
you answer my
Okay.
question, dude?
You're better. You interrupted me to ask a question
Yeah,
while I
because
was
I
speaking.
want the answer. Are you saying that it's not
Andrew,
likely it was a state actor?
Andrew, I'm going to finish my statement and then you're free to ask questions. All right. What I'm doing right now is I'm establishing that my theory is as possible as your theory. And I'm not pushing back and saying that my theory is the right theory. What I'm saying, and I said it before, is that the refusal to look at my theory is conspicuous because there is just as much possibility in my theory as there is in the government theory.
Okay. Do you agree then that we need to establish that your theory has just as much evidence as the theory which is being promoted right now by the state?
Actually, no, not to investigate it. In order to
Oh,
investigate
okay. So
theory,
then how is it just as likely?
hold on. Again, I was clear before. I didn't say likely. I said possible.
How
Right?
is it just as possible if you have no
When you're
evidence, dude?
investigating you investigate all possible scenarios. You don't have to. As a matter of fact, it's exactly the wrong way to investigate them. Is to latch on to one scenario and only investigate that one. What you would be
It depends
doing,
on the scenario.
even with a common retail,
Fine.
is
Oh,
you'd
you
be
know what?
going
I'll
through
just
4
grant
or
all of
5
this
possible
so that
theories.
we're not sitting here for hours. Just tell me what your evidence is as a state actor. Go ahead.
Okay, so why I believe it's a state actors, you look at the public way that he was executed, which requires extreme coordination, requires extreme, like really tight knowledge of the security of the event. It requires the ability to pull off a shot like that. You need to hit somebody the first time who's on stage, and you're separated by thousands of people. You
None
don't
of that
know.
requires a state actor, dude. None of it.
It requires someone who's extremely coordinated, and it
It
requires a
doesn't
group.
require a state actor. You just said it
I
required a
didn't
state
say it
actor.
requires state actor. I'm saying that it looks like a state actor, Andrew.
Okay, so then if we get it, he was in public. What's your other evidence for this that it was a state actor?
I don't think an individual can pull this off.
Great.
This
You
doesn't look
don't
like
think
somebody
an
pull it off.
individual incredulity. Got it. What's your evidence?
Well, let's take a look at. So you have the. You're so annoying. All right, so you've got essentially him being in public view in a
Uh-huh.
very public way
Yep.
in a place that is very high security.
Hmm.
Okay, how did the person get passed over?
That's a question. I'm asking you for your
That's a question.
evidence.
Right, and part of the answer to that question is going to be evidence.
Great.
How did that
So what
person
is
get
the
past
evidence?
all the layers of security that were
Oh
surrounding
yeah,
and protecting Charlie
all
Kirk
6
the
police
day of?
officers.
How did we have someone, let's look at it this way. How did we have 6 foreign iPhones pinged during the event from intelligence agencies?
Great. Those are
How
all
did we have
questions. What's
a
the
person
evidence it's a state
How did
actor,
we
dude?
have a
God,
person
this is
who, after he
rambling,
was shot,
incoherent nonsense.
dropped to the ground? Hold on a second. Dropped to the ground and started screaming, "I did it! I did it!"
Mhm.
Who turned out not to have done it. Right? These things all lend themselves to a coordinated effort, and the fact that it was done in such coordinated fashion leads me to believe a state actor.
What's the evidence for that, dude?
Unless you can tell me a non-state actor that could pull this thing off.
Okay, I already have. In fact, the state's already told you exactly what events took place. For one thing, it was light security that day, very light. There were 6 cops total. 6. Count them 6 for thousands of people. Tyler Robinson was able to just walk up on the roof because it wasn't secured.
Why was that?
Pretty easy.
Why was that?
Because they had terrible security.
Isn't Charlie Kirk the man who received death threats for God knows how long on this one
Yes,
day?
Charlie
happened to have
Kirk.
very light
Do
security.
you think that Charlie Kirk is immune to human error or any of their security details immune to human error? Instead of going with the more plausible solution, which is there's only 6 police officers there, along with his private security team, which is detailed around him, you go with the fact that it must have been a state foreign actor who sent in commandos to kill him in a coordinated fashion. It's like,
No, you're straw manning.
okay, then how did it go down, bro? How did the state do it?
Again, you're taking the wrong.
Tell me how the rogue state did it.
Andrew, you're doing this retail debater
How
thing where you
did the
demand
rogue
that I
state do it,
explain.
bro?
Andrew, Andrew, you're doing this retail debate thing, which is, frankly,
I don't
it's
care
this
about
is
the
not.
meta. I don't care
This is
about the
unbecoming
meta.
you.
I
Okay,
don't care about the meta. I just want
Andrew,
the evidence, dude.
Andrew, you're doing the thing where you demand more information than you know anyone can possibly provide.
Then
And then
how about
if I fail to provide it, you're going to use that as an argument that I'm wrong, which
okay,
is not,
so I'll tell
that's
you
not
what.
logically
I'm going to
sound.
shut up now. I just want you to tell me the evidence so I can write it down for your theory. Go ahead.
Again, we're going to look at who I think might have done it, and the fact that anyone who says that this is completely out of bounds, for me, is suspicious.
Can you
We're
repeat back
not
what
going to
I'm
look at
asking you to provide
we're
for
not
me?
going to look at why I believe this is definitely what happened.
Okay, great.
What I'm
Can you
saying,
real quick, can you
and
I
the
just
point that
want
you
you to make
refuse
sure
to
hang on,
comprehend.
hang on. I want you to make sure that you repeat back to me the specific thing I'm asking you for.
Yes.
What is it?
Okay.
No, no,
So
no. I'm asking
it
you a
is.
question, dude. Specifically, what is it that I'm asking you?
You're asking me for evidence that my
Yes.
claim, which is not my claim, is the correct theory. And I'm telling you, my claim is not that it's the correct theory.
So then why the should I listen to it?
You don't have to listen to it, but we're both
Okay,
okay.
so to get this
And
right, you're not going to give me
and
any
if
evidence for
you
your theory?
hold on, Andrew, you keep calling it my theory. Okay.
Whose
First
theory
of all,
is
it's not my
it?
theory. Second of
Then whose
all,
theory
I
is
don't
it?
think you've noticed yet that we're not arguing this theory.
Whose theory
We're
is it?
arguing.
If it's
Hold
not
on,
your theory, dude.
Andrew. Andrew, again, this is. I have to wonder if you're purposely being obtuse or if this is something
How
that you
am
don't
I
want
the
to do.
one being obtuse? Whose theory is it if it's not your theory?
Andrew, my point that I've been trying to make for the last 10 minutes is that the theory is possible. All right? It's just as possible as Tyler Robinson
It's
is.
not though.
And
If
for
it doesn't have
that
any evidence,
reason,
how could it be just as
what
possible?
you have to prove to get me to stop looking at it is that it's not that it's not likely, but that it's not possible. Can you prove to me that this theory is not possible? Because you're demanding that I stop looking at it. And for me to do that, I would need evidence. I wouldn't need evidence that it's possible to keep looking at it, or likely, or even evidence that it happened to keep looking at it. I would need evidence from you that it's impossible
I
to
see.
stop looking at it.
I understand. So let me make sure I got this right. You would need for me to provide for you enough evidence that it's impossible that a theory that you have no evidence for isn't true. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now that I understand the position, um, I need you to provide me with enough evidence to prove that it's impossible that Donald Trump isn't a lizard person from the planet X, or else I'm going to keep looking into it.
You're actually welcome to keep looking into that.
Okay, great. So you're not going to provide me evidence that that's impossible, then, are you?
Well, because there really is none.
There really isn't what? Any evidence?
Apart
Can
from
I
the fact that
can
you
I
have
inter
identified
can I
parts.
Wow, wait a
interject?
second. So to get this right, there's no evidence for that theory, so you're just not going to believe it. Great. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Andrew, there's no evidence that it's
Rabbi,
impossible. There's no evidence that it's impossible, which is why you keep looking into it.
okay,
Why
I'll
is
keep
Charlie
looking
Kirk
into
different?
it, bro. I'll keep looking
Hey
into
Andrew,
whether or not
can I
hang
interject?
on, let
Because
me
this
finish real
debate's
quick.
not
I'm
going
almost done.
anywhere.
We're almost done.
I know
You're
he keeps
right.
interrupting.
I will continue to look into whether or not Donald Trump is a lizard person from the planet X because it's not impossible. Got it. I'm glad we're on the same page.
I don't think
Uh,
it's a very high impact theory, but you're welcome to
hey,
look into it
can
too.
we get back to a bit of reality, if you
Yeah,
don't
I
mind?
would love to. That'd be great. No, the point is that the theory that a state actor was involved in Charlie Kirk is much more likely than Donald Trump being a lizard person,
No, it's
and
not.
thus warrants further
Wait a
investigation.
second. No, by your standard, it's actually not. Your standard is, and
My
I
standard
hang
is.
on, and I repeated it, and you agreed. Your standard was you need to provide me with enough evidence to show that this is an impossibility, a theory which I have no evidence for. And you said yes. That's the
Yes.
exact same standard that I'm giving you for Donald Trump being a lizard person from the planet X. You can't provide me with enough evidence, but yet you say that it's less likely than your theory, which has no evidence. Can you explain and reconcile that contradiction, sir?
Sure, because we don't have prior existence of lizard people that's been documented. We don't have evidence of planet X. We don't know what planet X is. We
That
do
wouldn't
have
determine that it's
prior
less likely.
evidence of states taking part in targeted assaults, which means not that this theory is likely in objective fashion the way that you want it to be, but it is more likely than the theory that Donald Trump is a lizard person from Planet X. They're both equally possible.
They're both
One of
equally
them is more
possible.
likely.
Got it. Okay.
One of them is more likely.
But they're both equally possible, but one of them is more likely.
Correct.
Okay, that's a contradiction in and of itself, but I'll just leave it there.
No, it isn't unless you are having
How could
difficulty
something be
with English
equal?
language.
How the hell could something be equally possible, but one is more likely? I don't understand that, but whatever. I'll just let it go. All right.
Possibility is a binary.
Yeah, that would still not make any sense, but okay. I'll just leave it there, bro.
It's all right. Just take a minute and think about it. It'll come to you.
I
The point that I'm
will.
making is
I'll
that-
take
So-
many minutes to think
and-
about it.
All right, Rabbi.